Namaskar, I'm Vaidya Ashlesha Raut. I welcome you on this session. I'm sure you all are enjoying Varshikotsav at this HTBN. And so today's topic is something which is very useful, of course, but very common, and still it is essential. So I'm going to share with you today about our daily routine. And in Ayurveda, we call this as a Dincharya. So let me start sharing my slides. And I hope you all are able to see this. So what we are going to talk about today is Dincharya, the Ayurveda daily routine. And before we move on to the actual topic of Dincharya, let's talk about Ayurveda first, right? So I'm sure you all are aware of Ayurveda. Yoga, Ayurveda are getting popular here in US, and we are. I mean, yoga is already established now. The Ayurveda is getting popular. So, what is Ayurveda? And as we all know, this very common thing about Ayurveda that it is an ancient traditional medical science which was developed during Vedic civilization of Bharat. So you know the word Ayurveda itself has the one word which says Veda. So it is a Upanga, means sub-Ved, you can say. And obviously when the whole Vedic civilization was establishing, now the date becomes almost 20 to 25,000 before Common Era. These whole civilization started developing. And then at that time, Ayurveda was emerging, and the need of Ayurveda was obviously as a medical science in everywhere with the civilization would need the current medical science, and that time's current medical science was Ayurveda. So, of course, you all are aware of this. What amazes me, and I want to share that thing with you, is why is Ayurveda named as Ayurveda? Of course, you would say that it is a Upanga Ved, it is a sub-Ved, it is a part of the Ved, and that's why it is called Ayurveda. So people would know that it is a Veda, part of Veda. But it's not only that. It is also medical science, and they could have easily maybe mentioned as Bharatiya Bishak, or Bishak means, medicine, and Indian medicine or something they could have done. But they did not do that. And the reason behind that is, again, it's in its name. The word Ayurveda, if you would see, then it would be defined it as a Ayushaha Vedaha, Ayurvedaha. When you say Ayushaha Vedaha, means it is that science of life. So it's not just the medical science, it is something more than that, which would take care not of the only diseases, but also would take care of your health, the wellness, which is really important part than just the health. The disease cannot be now just defined as the absence of health, cannot be defined just as an absence of disease. And that's how we still believe in wellness. We still believe more in the having a good health, not just not having the disease. And that's why that emphasis was very important here, and that's why they wrote it as a Ayurveda, the science of life. Another thing which really amazes me, and that is that as we believe that the Vedas were apaurushia, the meaning of apaurushia means they just emerged, they came down. There is no one single author for that. No one just sat and wrote it down. It is a contribution of many sages, and that's why they say that it just emerged. That's why the name, Sanskrit name for that is Apaurushya. And so as it is believed as Ayurveda, Lord Dhanvantari came with Ayurveda and gave. And so why was it given? So when we were saying again that Vedic civilization was developing, and human being would need, if the humans are created, then they would need the health, the machine of body, and mind was given to every soul. And that is what is developing, would need some guidance of living life. Ayusha Veda, Ayurveda. So Ayu means life, and that life has to be lived. So, obviously when some machine comes, you get a user manual, don't you? And so that's how for this body mind, you need a user manual. And that is what is Ayurveda, as we pretty much believe very well in Ayurveda as well as in the Sanatana Dharma, that there is only one, right? And all these souls would get the body mind, and this body mind is a machine which at soul level you operate, and that operation has to be done. Then there has to be some user manual also, and that's why Ayurveda is being given. So with that introduction to Ayurveda, let's move on to understand some fundamental principles. And many of us are very well aware of Pancha Mahabhutas, the 5 great elements. And we believe very much that yes, these 5 great elements are all over the universe. From maybe the universe is made up because of these 5 great elements. So these 5 great elements are nothing but everywhere. So obviously they are in our bodies. And how do they come into or manifest in our bodies? That has been explained as a Tridosha Siddhanta. Dosha here is a word given for a bio elements or a bio energies. So it's nothing but those 5 great elements which are manifested in the form of 3 doshas. So 3 biological energies. And what Ayurveda believes is these 3 bioenergies are the main core of your physiology. The meaning of main core of physiology is that these are the 3 bioenergies are the center point, and all your physiology revolve around these 3 bioenergies. So any action which is happening in our body is because of these 3 bioenergies. They have a great influence. So I'm not saying that physiology is not there. Physiology is there. We very well understand this physiology in contemporary medical science. The modern medicine, the modern science explains the physiology, explains the anatomy very well, which is absolutely true. And that must be true that time, in that ancient time as well. But what I'm saying, the understanding at Ayurvedic level is the physiology moves. That is true, but some another forces are there. And what are these forces? They are the forces of these 3 bioenergies. So these 3 bioenergies actually create the whole fundamental principle of Ayurveda. And that's how, according to Ayurveda, every movement of your body, whether it is anatomical movement or whether it is a physiological movement, it happens just because of these 3 bioenergies. And why am I telling you this, right? It is something really corely related to Ayurveda and the Dincharya aspect also. So we have these 3 bioenergies, and you might have heard these words very well: Vata, Pitta, Kapha, and somebody says, oh, my Vata is increased, and somebody says, no, I have a Pitta suddenly, and that's how I have rashes. And so many in our vocabulary, so many times these words comes. But these words, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, are not just words of a disease, but actually they are bioenergies. And that's what I wanted to give you some more explanation on that. And that just think about what is Vata. So the Vata is considered as an actual wind energy. One thing we have to remember here, that the whole Ayurveda is written in developing and aligning ourselves with the nature. So whatever happens in the nature exactly happens in your body. And that is another very fundamental principle of Ayurveda. So in Sanskrit, we say yatha pinde tatha brahmande, which means the way the universe is being set, exactly same way your body is also inside. And that's why to align yourself with universe is very crucial. Now, how do we do that? And that's the reason these three bioenergies are being explained. And these are nothing different than your, something which you don't see in universe. So if I ask you, what are these three universe, what are the three bioenergies in the universe, common bioenergies, then you would say this, right? The sun is there, the moon is there, and of course the wind is there. And so these three things are exactly how they represent in our body as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. So when I say Pitta, it is that fiery energy, it is that sun in our body, which is responsible for all transformation and practically responsible for all digestions. Now, digestion happens at all the levels, not just the bodily. So it is also at the mind level. When you are learning something, when you are studying something, you are actually digesting that information in your brain. And that's why where the Pitta comes in. And the same thing with Vata. Vata is a wind energy, the all nervous system or the whole movementary action which happens in our body is because of Vata. Vata dosha, which is a bioenergy. And then again, when there is a fire, it has to have something cooling. And so the sun has moon, and the way we described here in Ayurveda, that Kapha is that moon energy, the relaxing, the responsible, which is cooling, but at the same time responsible for the lubrication of body or the growth and the development, all these things which are needed for body to act, and that cooling aspect to be mentioned there, that is something which we get it from the Kapha energy. So now when we are aware of this fact of Vata, Pitta, Kapha, I just want to touch base very quickly on very major aspect of Ayurveda, and that is something called as a bio-individuality. This is a very big aspect of Ayurveda. Here in Ayurveda, we do not believe that everybody is same. I mean, one size fits all is simply not accepted in Ayurveda. I mean, you would say that if I remove my specs and give it to you and say, okay, read now, you will not be able to read it, because these pair of glasses are meant for myself, for my eyes, and that is an individual perception I have through these would be different, and the same as with you. Or if you give me your shoes and it will not fit me because my shoe length, my feet size would be different. And the same way, each one is unique, and that applies to everywhere, whether you eat food, whether you take medicine, whether you do the daily life. And this individuality is being described in Ayurveda as a term of Prakriti. Again, the word Prakriti is very common, and you are definitely aware of this. People say, oh, this is my Prakriti, which is what means it is your nature, it is your constitution, your body type, and it is very, very unique to each one of us. And as I said, there are three main doshas. That's how we define. There are many Prakritis, but just for the understanding purposes, whichever dosha is dominant, that is how we define that's the Prakriti you have. So if you have a Vata dosha prominent in your physiology, then you would be called as a Vata dominant. If you have a Pitta dosha in your body, then you will be called as a Pitta dominant. And if you have a Kapha dosha dominant in your physiology, then you will call a Kapha dominant. And so this bio-individuality really works a lot at all the way, all the time. And I'm going to talk more on that as we proceed with the Dincharya aspect. So with this understanding, let's move on to the Dincharya. So what is Dincharya? As I said, Dincharya is way of life, how you live your life, especially Dina. The meaning of Dina means day, and Charya means how to perform. So how do you perform your day-to-day life? There has to be certain specific things which are to be done, and those are known as a Dincharya. Now, people are very well aware that lifestyle is one of the core, now getting a core treatment of Ayurveda. So for example, in Ayurvedic sense, we always believe there are three major tools we have for treating anyone. One is diet, and of course the herbal medicine, but along with these two is the lifestyle. And lifestyle is really which brings out our real inner potential at up, and that's how we feel healthy. So it is not only for the physical health, but it is also for the mental health. And you will there are certain things which I'll show you. And again, another very essential point of Ayurveda is body mind are intertwined. You cannot separate body separately and mind separately. They both are intertwined. So obviously we need these both the aspect to be understood very well. And so as the Dincharya or the lifestyle makes the much more difference if you would behave how it is being defined. And it is not just simply means of suppressing somebody's right the way you are acting now. It is actually for bringing out that deeper powers within you, and that's what the Dincharya is meant for. Let's go and understand the aspect of Dincharya. The very core fundamental thing about Dincharya, or why we should have the daily routine, is for attuning with nature. This is another very principal fundament of Ayurveda, that if you want to live your highest potential life, and you really want to achieve that wellness and have that strength in the day-to-day life, then you should best do one thing, and that is attune yourself with nature. Now, how do you attune yourself with nature? And that is what is being explained in Ayurveda by saying the Dincharya. So Ayurvedic daily routine, which is known as Dincharya, is designed to maintain and reconnect us to the natural circadian rhythm. We know we all have the circadian rhythm, and this circadian rhythm, how do we keep it aligned with the nature? That is what is all about Dincharya. So as I said, that Vata, Pitta, Kapha, these three bioenergies really play a very important role here. And you would see that the natural cycles, the sun comes at certain particular time, and then it goes down, and then moon arises, and all when these things are happening in nature, we have certain things on our body changes, our physiology changes. You might have seen this, why in universe all over the world people sleep at night. Why don't they sleep in the morning? And you would say, just because sun goes down? Yes, that is true, but not just because it is darkened. We have lights, right? So it is more of our nature, again, how the nature behaves, and the same nature we also have, and we are a part of this nature. And that's the reason why we also need to attune yourself with nature. And these Vata, Pitta, Kapha, three bioenergies, are considered dominating at certain points. So if you could see here the cycle, the circle here, and this circle clearly shows, this is actually the time. So clock, if you could see, understand this as a clock, and then this is at the noon time, and then the 9 a.m. or p.m. in the midnight, and 3 o'clock, and sunset and sunrise. So 6 o'clock here. Then actually 6 to around 10 considered as a Kapha dominant time, whereas 10 to 2 is considered as a Pitta dominance. And then again 2 to 6 is considered as a Vata dominant time. And naturally, these energies, as I said, are the extension of Panchamahabhutas. So they are not only in your body, they are all over. The clock of nature actually moves according to these doshas. And that's the reason, the whole and sole reason why we want to do certain things at certain time. And this guidance of when to do what is being given in Ayurveda, and that's what we call it as a Dincharya. So let's take a deeper look at Dincharya and again, Ayurvedic daily routine. And there are actually more than 40 points described in Dincharya. And I mean, it is with with the time constraint, it is not possible to talk on each one of them, but I definitely would like to share some knowledge and the deeper insight about Dincharya and why these things are to be done at certain points. So I'm going to focus on few things, and that too more over the morning rituals, which are crucial, very, very essential for your well-being, not just the absence of disease, but well-being, and focusing on. So let's get started there, that what is the first thing someone wants to do. And I would suggest, and this, as I said already, 14 points, Brahma Muhurte Uttishtet. This is the very first point comes in Ayurvedic Dincharya. So again, what is Brahma Muhurta? You might have heard Muhurtas. We have always the good time and we call that as a Muhurta. But when it is said Brahma Muhurta, it is a certain specific time which is being mentioned. And so when is this time? And Ayurveda recommends that you really have to wake up around Brahma Muhurta. So the Brahma Muhurta is considered as a 96 minutes before sun rises, around 96 minutes. It's not that exactly on that point. I know Muhurta, when we say we have more understanding of Muhurta, is one particular time, and at that time only things have to be done. But here it is the much bigger period being given, that these 96 minutes before the sun rises. So for example, if you say the sun is rising at 6 o'clock, then somewhere around 4:30 to 4:25 to and then the till 6 o'clock, all would considered as a Brahma Muhurta. And the very logical understanding of this is that you are supposed to be getting up during this period of time. So just even before sun rises. And why is that? That we will see. But what are we supposed to do by getting up, right? So Ayurveda suggests that the meaning of Brahma is knowledge. And this is the really ideal time for gaining that Brahma knowledge. So, whether you are praying to God, or whether you are doing Adhyayana, which means you are studying, or whether you are doing meditation, this is really a good time to do that. And why it is to be done at this time, right? That is another thing. And this is very important aspect, because nowadays, especially with kids, you would see that because of lockdown, the things are still getting started up and people are at home and they tend to sleep late, and so they tend to get up late. But by doing that, you're actually creating a blockage for your circadian rhythm. Your bodily nature is to be getting up early in the morning, and that is being blocked. And is it only I'm saying about the Ayurvedic perspective? Then I will give you the modern perspective also now on this. But one thing is to be understood here is, it's not only that I'm telling you to get up at 4 o'clock, I'm just telling you get up before the sun rises. And why is that? So as I showed you the Vata, Pitta, Kapha bioenergies, then between 2 to 6 is the dominance of Vata. And there are very different measures that's been given that how the whole clock can be actually understood. So here is this, in this aspect, Brahma Muhurta comes at the later part of the Vata, where the Vata dominance is going to go down, and now the Pitta, Kapha dominance is going to come up. And that's why the timing which I was telling you, that before 6, if 6 is the time when the sun is coming, again, it will change every time because sun rises differently. So it's not one particular one time which I'm telling you to get up, but around this period of time, few minutes before, if you could get up, then your vata dominance would really help you to act on for your whole physiology. So your day really starts well, and this wellness is not again only for the physiology, but it is actually for your mind as well. As we are very well aware of the, you know, the hormonal system and the brain chemicals, the neurotransmitters which we have, and these neurotransmitters, they have some specific cycle and they behave according to your circadian rhythm. And it has been seen that the serotonin, which is considered as for your well-being, which is very, very essential hormone in your well-being, that is actually at the highest level in the morning time. So we know melatonin is actually responsible for your sleep inducement and the sleep cycle. So it rules the night as the precursor for the serotonin. So when the melatonin ends, the serotonin actually starts taking place, and it is at the highest level in the body early in the morning. So you are, it is a very important aspect, and it is a sensitive to sunlight as well. But it's a very important aspect of our well-being is being represented by the serotonin, and that's exactly happens in the morning time. That is another reason why you want to get up early in the morning. So if you get up early in the morning, and again, you have to tune your body. It's not immediately happen if you are not ready to get up, and if you have slept late at the night, body may not finish that. So getting, going to bed early and trying to wake up, and some of you might have been realizing that automatically you feel your eyes open in the morning, and if you are again attuned with the nature, this thing happens very, very automatically. Another very important aspect one has to do after getting up the morning, and you may even laugh at it, but this is the reality, is evacuation. And then the evacuation is also comes in this aspect of, if I would say, the all of these doshas or the bioenergies which I was talking about, they have their own functions. They perform certain functions in your body, and these vata dosha has its own function, and one of these functions is to evacuate the malas. Malas are the toxins, the defecation, the stool has to be defecated in the morning. And why is that? Because again, vata is the dominant period, and if during that dominant period, if you defecate, it will be much easier. Again, it goes off. You're actually getting rid of the toxins the whole day, which toxins were getting created, and those are being defecated in the morning. You get a very good start. You might have experienced this, that the day morning time you go and clean up, the whole day goes really well. So that is not important, but here another thing also which is very important, that how do you defecate? The bowel movements would happen, but the way bowel movement has to be happening, and this is again a lot of research have been done. What you're seeing here on the slide is the very common yoga pose, which is called squatting, or it is yogic squatting, or it is called malasana. See the malasana. When you say mala means what? Mala means stools, right? In Sanskrit, the stools are known as mala. And this yoga pose is called as a malasana. So how Ayurveda and yoga are teaching you how to defecate even. And you may want to know this definitely, because a lot of research have been done on this. And the clinical study actually show that sitting in the squatting pose is much easier way of defecation. So when we talk about the defecation, there are very simple, it's a simple mechanism, body does it. three main steps happen. And of course, the very first is a spontaneous rectal contraction. So when the spontaneous rectal contraction is happening, the same time the anorectal angle is straightening happens, and that happens because of the relaxation of your puborectalis muscle. Well, this may be a little confusing for you, but in short, what the study was, and I want to share that study, that they did the, if you could see on my screen here, there is a, they did three groups, and in that, all these three groups, they showed that squatting was done and average timing for the defecation was studied. So average timing for defecation on the squatting was the really less amount of time, whereas if you do the sitting and do the defecation at the height of 31 to 32 centimeter, whereas as higher as you go, it becomes more difficult to defecate. So in the how many minutes this defecation would happen really matters a lot. And other than that, so vata problem, I already told you, the function of vata is to defecate, and it is already in the morning time, it is at its best period of time, and so that's how it works. And another way also, it has been said that if you could do in a squatting pose, sit in a malasana and do the defecation, then it is much easier, less strain is being observed. Again, I am not saying this, these are the public published papers which are saying this. So what you would ask me that, okay, but then how do I do that? Because we have the European style, sitting commode. So how do we do that? We do not have Indian style toilets here, and we have the European style toilets. So there are solutions. So when you sit like this, obviously the angle between you becomes 90 degree and it is expected to be reduced. So the squatting can be still done in the European style by just taking some kind of a stool below your feet, and raising this leg up would help this defecation aspect. So this is something very crucial and very easy to be accepted and done. So from there, we move on to the oral hygiene. Obviously, you would brush your teeth, and I'm not going to talk about the brushing teeth or cleaning your mouth. We know all that it has to be done, but the most important thing here I would like to tell you is just think about using the Jivva Nirlekhanam. We all are aware of the Jivva Nirlekhanam. You could see here on the screen, and unfortunately, this is now people are forgetting. This was being mentioned in Ayurveda, and all our ancestors might have done this, but people are forgetting. And that's just a reminder for that. Wanted to share this, that this is the best way of doing the tongue cleaning. So many times people take brush and try to clean their tongue, but it is not really gives the smoother effect to the tongue. It would be the irregular pressure on the tongue, and which is not really good. And that's why this Jivva Nirlekhanam is being developed since then, and it reduces. So benefits are immense. Of course, it reduces the oral bacteria, those which we do not want. It is also because these bacteria are linked to the bad breath and the whole hygiene aspect. But this is not only meant for the oral hygiene aspect. It is more than that. The coating which people have on the tongue is actually nothing but the sign that how much toxins you have in your intestinal canal. So according to Ayurveda, the more cleaner tongue you have, the more healthier is your colon and the whole gut health. And if this gut health has to be maintained, then you really need the proper cleaning of the tongue. And that's why the tongue cleaner is being explained. Tongue cleaners are many types, and it could be gold, silver, and copper and steel and plastic. Of course, we do not want to use plastic. Steel is good, but if you could use copper, that is further better. One thing I also want to tell you that we have almost 32 40,000 birds, test birds on our tongue. And these birds get strokes when you do the tongue cleaning. There are multiple times you have to do, at least 7 times from back to front. As you could see from here, the stroke should be from back to front. And why do we need this? Because these are the methods actually by which you would get the strokes. And the coating will go one thing. Also, the stroking would enhance and kickstart the digestion process of your intestine, of your GI tract. So the same taste buds have been observed on the tongue and in your esophagus, in your upper part of the stomach. And not that you're just giving the enhancing them there only on the tongue level, but you are sending a message to the body, to your intestine, to your digestive tract, that I am getting up now and the food is going to come from above, and you better get ready. The reason here I said about copper is also very important, because copper is very well established thing. This is also a very established thing, that the copper is very bacterial resistant metal. And according to Ayurveda, it has also very important role to play in our immune system. It absorbs the, it helps the lymph to go out, and it gets coagulated with the lymph ions, and that's how it is believed to increase the more cleaning effect gets. And the more and more you're clean, detoxified, the best thing you would have is obviously you would get the more immune support. Your body becomes more strengthened, and you get rid of many diseases. So after doing cleaning, we of course recommend to drink water. This is something very simple, and you would maybe laugh at me and say, okay, why is she telling us to drink water? These are the common things. But my friends, really here it is necessary, because so many of people have seen, they would drink first thing. What goes into your mouth is crucial, and many people actually drink tea first thing in the morning, and they do not drink water. Again, water, how much water and all it differs from person to person, because I said that bioindividuality matters here. But one thing is recommended, what is as a copper. Again, if you drink, save the water in a copper vessel and drink that, it has immense benefits. And you may want to drink, just keep it down there. Always it is better to have little warm water rather than having the chilled water. And copper, already have mentioned the benefits of copper. It is good for your heart also. According to Ayurveda, copper is rudya. Rudya means it is beneficial for your heart, and that's how it has been mentioned to have in a copper bottle. Copper, you can use the bottle or the whatever container you want to keep it, but drinking water first thing in the morning is crucial. If you drink it through copper bottle, copper glass, it is further better. But first thing, what you should have in the morning should be just the drinking water. Think it this way, that when we do not eat the whole night, means what? We are doing the fast, right? We are not eating means we are not means we are performing the fast for the 8 hours or whatever time we sleep. Now just imagine, when you want to break a fast, somebody is on the fast, or you people go on the hunger strike, right? And they do the hunger strike. What do you give them first? Well, of course you give them water first. And that's why water, the most natural thing which you could have, universe has given us, and that's water. Drinking water could be very, very beneficial. Then I'm going to come to a very crucial aspect again. We all live in Illinois, Bloomington normal, right? And we know Chicago so close, and Illinois is, Chicago is considered as a windy city. So in general, on Illinois, we would see that we have a lot more winds. And now when the September has already here and fall has been going to start, we would see this wind blowing, how much wind blows. And wind blows means it dries your skin. You may not feel it on your skin immediately, but when you're constantly getting this blowed wind, it definitely dries your skin. You would say, "What? I'm at home. It doesn't matter." Well, it does, because you are at home constantly in the conditioned air. Either it is heater or whether it is, air conditioned. So when the wind blows or the heater is on, the wind is still blowing, and your skin is definitely getting drier and drier. Again, wind is similar to the vata dosha, and vata dosha is really pacified well if you do the oil massage. The very common name for oil massage for in Sanskrit or in Ayurveda is Abhyanga. And you have heard this, definitely. I'm sure you all are aware of Abhyanga Snanam. We always say this, and applying oil. But this is something it's not to be only done before Diwali, but it should be actually done every day. And of course, you may say that, "Oh, I don't have that much time to apply all over the oil." Okay, don't do that much, but at least if you can apply the oil right from your toe, fingers till the shoulder and the extremities, like same things with your leg, then it is possible that you're at least applying some oil, and which can pacify the vata. Again, the understanding here, not just to soften the skin, not just to enhance your glow, but also to lubricate your joint, to increase your circulation, to stimulate your lymphatic system, stimulate your all the joints, making sure that you increase your vata is pacified. And the vata dosha, as I said, is responsible for all the movements in the body, not just the locomotive movements, not hand and leg thing, but your mental movements also. And just by applying this oil very well all over the body actually helps you to calm down your mind. So the bodily benefits are there, but the mental benefits are also there. And after doing oil, you can just sit for some time there, allow that oil to penetrate in your body, and then you should go for snanam. So whatever the excess oil is been there will be taken away. So don't worry that, okay, my clothes will get dirty or anything. You can go and do the snanam, take the shower, and then it's done. Again, as I said, Ayurveda is meant for the body as well as mind. So here you would see the benefits of the taking shower, which is very clear that you want to clean your body. But if you could see clarity to mind, it has been very clearly mentioned that it increases the clarity to the mind, and also it increases the holiness to your life. And that is another reason why the showering, doing snanam every day is necessary. And again, you could do for the Sandhyopasana, worship and prayer can be done afterwards. Of course, you have to take the snanam and then only you have to do that. Another very essential part of Dincharya is exercise, and of course Surya Namaskaras are recommended. Dina means day, and day comes when the sun starts. So the Surya Namaskar are the simplest method of doing a very good exercise for all of our body. There are many benefits of Surya Namaskara, and because of time constraint, I'm not going to go that. And I'm sure you have performed Sukshma Vyayama with Anita ji, and Anita ji had shown the importance of, explain the importance of Vyayama. So I will not spend more time here on Vyayama, and let's move further. Along with Vyayama, or along with the Yogasana, one thing which you want to do definitely every day, and that is pranayama. There are many types of pranayama. I mean, I've shown here many types. You don't have to do all those pranayama. But most importantly, even if you could do one simple Nadi Shodhana pranayama, or which is very commonly known as alternative nostril breathing, even if you could do those few rounds of alternative nostril breathing, then you're adding much health to your body and mind. There are immense benefits of doing pranayama. Basically, what Ayurveda believes is you have 72,000 nadis in your body. And these 72,000 nadis are the channels, the meridians in your body. And these meridians are kept clean if you do the pranayama. And the more and more you keep them clean, the more and more sattva guna increases, or in other words, your rajaguna and your tamaguna decreases. So you want that sattva to enhance. And again, sattva on the aspect of body, emotion, mind, but the physiologically also, you would observe that the balance between your brain, right side brain and left side brain, really matters well by doing the pranayama. Again, pranayama helps for prana to enhance, and prana is a master form of vata. So vata dosha's master form is prana, and that's why pranayama is made up of two words, again, prana and ayama. Ayama means expansion. You're expanding your prana, and you know what is prana. So obviously doing pranayama every day is crucial. It is very beneficial. And of course, how can I not say about dhyana, the meditation? It is extremely important, whether you could do it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It is actually meeting with yourself, your true self, your true nature, or it is, in other words, it is talking directly with the universe, the supreme, the consciousness, the universal consciousness. So the definition of pranayama as a definition of meditation or the dhyana is, according to sage Patanjali, is nothing but where the universal consciousness meets the individual consciousness. And this is the time to become one. And that's why doing dhyana every day is extremely crucial. Whether you could do it for 5 minutes, whether you do it for 20 minutes, it's up to you, your time. But again, the vata time is really very well mentioned here, that where you can easily become that oneness can be achieved, the lightness can be achieved. And that's why doing the dhyana meditation, mostly in the morning time, really helps. So what we were seeing today, some items which should to be performed in the Dincharya. Again, because of the time constraint, it is not possible to give all the, talk about all the Dincharya aspect, but these are the really crucial Dincharya items which you should be performing. And there are really many benefits of it. As I said, it regulates the daily routine, and by just regulating your circadian rhythm or the daily routine, what you achieve is that you put us in harmony with the nature's rhythm, and you align ultimately with the nature. It really establishes all that vata pitta kapha balance very well as per your body type, because it will be again different for each and every person. As I said, how much water to drink, or which even the Jivva Nirlekanam to be used, it differs from person to person. And it, of course, everything is for cleansing and setting your biological clock and aiding the digestion and absorption and assimilation of food, and even the excreting the waste product. And not only for the body, as I said, it develops something happens for the mind at level as well. And that's how it generates the self-esteem and discipline and peace. As I mentioned, even getting up in the morning, simply getting up in the daytime, morning, would increase that happiness, because the chemical neurotransmitters would secrete that time. They are anyway going to secrete whether you sleep or you don't get up. So if you get up, you would get that more benefit, and so happiness you would get. And of course, not to forget the whole long life. If you would have happiness with the long life, then what else we want? So with this, I would like to end this presentation by chanting the mantra and wishing everyone happiness and health, and as well as whatever the auspicious is happening here, everyone should see that and not suffer from anything. So let's pray together. Everyone, you can, wherever you are, can just come into the namaste position and just chant with me. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschit dukha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you everyone for your patient listening, and I will be open for the questions. Thank you.